I would always thank God that there are people that I know today that I didn't know 3 years ago. Because it just takes one error. When like, this guy's not good. Off the road.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zion Culture. And this is the Startup Show. This is the show where we talk about businesses, your career, and everything that we can do to help you in your workplace. My name is James Ife, and today we have a photographer with me, and he's such a brilliant photographer, a celebrity photographer, even though he does not like the name, but it is what it is. So right now he's going to introduce himself to us as we get into this conversation. So yes, please introduce yourself to our audience, and then from there we'll take the conversation.
All right, good day, everyone. My name is Jolaadura, Ezekiel Adegoke. I'm a child of God and a photographer.
All right. So apart from photography, it does quite a number of things. I think I've seen your podcast before. I've seen what did I know you used to do? You used to do content sometimes. You do all these love things, be writing stories for them. Like
No?
photographer. Are you sure?
Okay.
Yes,
That's
now
like
you
caption for my post.
caption for your
anyways.
post. Yes, I know what I'm saying. So yes, so you have different expressions as it were. So how of all these multiple gifts, how were you able to lock in on photography?
All right, so I actually know where to start from, right? So I'm an anthropologist. I studied anthropology in school. I have a YouTube channel. I'm a content creator in that sense. What again? At least for now, Sha. For now.
Okay.
So, but I was able to lock photography down. Is I think it just started somehow, and somehow, just discovered that okay, I have this thing for photography, and I started from there. I became serious with it, and of course, it is what it is now, and still growing, anyways. But among the many other expressions, I think one of the things that works for me is trying to know what God is having me focus on part time. Right. So, for example, I said on my story on Instagram some days ago that soon, maybe this month or next month, I'll be doing less of photography content on my page now because there's a bit of a shift in the emphasis. So, what I'm still a photographer, please. So I'm just saying that it's just knowing what to lock down and what to focus on part time. So I think that's like.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's dive into the conversation.
All right,
So if somebody wants to start photography, what steps? Because of course I know you started 2021 ish.
after lockdown.
After lockdown,
I became serious after lockdown. I've been doing this on a level.
Lockdown really blessed a lot
That's
of
like
people's
2017,
life.
2018 was on a level. So I mean, so
Lockdown was a change in people's
was a breaker.
life. Was a breaker. So yes, I was saying that if somebody wants to pick up photography, how do they join into it? So you are talking to somebody who has interest, has not started. Yes, as an advisor, what do you tell the person?
All right. For someone that wants to be a photographer, I would say learn. For learning, there's no end. For example, I know people that we look up to in the photography industry that still pay heavily for workshops. For example, can I mention names?
Sure.
All right. So, for example, I know my photography mentor is Yemi Kings. For example, I know Yemi Kings still attends certain kind of seminars, certain kind of workshops. There's a man that we look up to in Nigeria, wedding photographer. His name is Big H. At least twice or thrice this year, I've seen him go to New York and I think London for about 2 or 3 workshops. So, until learning, there's no end. So, if people at that level that are cashing out, that have the big clients, are going that far to learn, how much money you're about to start out. So, if you're starting out, my first advice would be learn. Even if you have. So now I'm talking to the believers now. Even if you think, which is not even a thought, which is like constant, you have the advantage of the Holy Spirit. You don't, and it can teach you all things. It can teach you in photography, like my case was, right? You don't want to stand before people for a workshop and telling them that, okay, I saw in my dream. You want to be able to, teach them the rudiments. You want to be able to speak to them with photography terms. So even if you are banking on that advantage of the Holy Spirit, you still want to be able to communicate to a layman and be able to teach them without using, bogus sentences, by being able to use photography terms. So learn the basics, learn the rudiments of photography. I think that's like a basic advice.
Thank you. So there's this question that came to my mind now. There are there are a lot of photographers. So what do you want to say to somebody who has interest as like, there are a lot of photographers already. I don't need to be there. I don't have a use there in the photography industry because we are too much. So you have that person in front of you, what do you say to the person?
Wow, it's like saying that I don't want to come to the world because we are too much. So I mean, as you know, there's a saying that the sky is wide enough for birds to fly without having contact with each other. So there's a way. For example, I was just thinking over the weekend. I was like, if I have an opportunity to teach somebody, there's no point holding back because I believe you can't take my clients. I believe so. So I believe strongly that as saturated as the industry is, it is there's still space for thousands of people to join the game. There are people that have been photographing before someone like myself picked up a camera. They are still in the game. I'm still in the game. And so if other people come into the space, they will still have clients. See, the point is, come into the game, know what you are doing, let your head be correct, learn, be excellent, be a good person, have good character, be excellent. You somehow you just find your uniqueness, and by sticking to it, somehow there'll be a way for you. It's just like saying that, as I said, like saying that I don't want to come to the world because we are too much. That's like what it is. We are too much, but people keep on reproducing. So it's in the same vein. There are so many photographers, but there's still a space for you. So yes, so that's not an excuse.
I think I like the analogy. Even though I was going to say that they don't technically have choice. It's not like there's a meeting. Everyone is like, "Would you like to go to the world?" And they're like, no. So yes, let's come back to you particularly. So were there any challenges where you were starting? Did you face any challenge? If there were, please do you mind sharing some of so that our audience can learn?
Okay. So I think one of my major challenges that I had at the time was that if you are going to tell people that okay, I shoot weddings, I shoot portraits, you want to be able to stand before people with a plethora of things that you have done. You want to be able to have what we call a portfolio, right? So, and nobody wants you to
use their wedding for
trial. Their wedding for trial. Say, sir, please, I'm a photographer. What have you done before? No, this is my first one. Nobody wants you to, test strong with their wedding so that I can destroy, so that you won't destroy that big deal, right? So you want to have a solid portfolio. So there was a season in my life where I had to do a lot of free works. I volunteered. I think there was even a phase in my life where I went for a particular program one day to volunteer, and I came back from the program with my account empty because I rented the camera with my money. I even went to somebody to assist me. I went, all of the transport logistics was on me. Our feeding was on me. So I came back, with an empty account. So that for me was not even a challenge. The challenge was that at the point where I was not like, okay, now I'm done with volunteering, I need to start making my money. It became a bit difficult to transition from telling people that, okay, I'll do it for free. Say, okay, I charge this amount. I'm like, bro, like, it's not like that. What changed, bro? So I mean, like, that point of having to transition between knowing that, okay, at this phase of my life, I'm trying to shoot for free in a way to gather, portfolio. And I said, okay, now I have to start charging. There was a challenge with knowing how to charge. There's a challenge with people accepting that, okay, this guy now wants to start making money off what he does. Even the funny part is that they know you are good at what you're doing. They know you are good, but it's like, I wish you can still just use him one more time, right? So I think that was like one major challenge. Like, the other part was the fact that if in Nigeria, I think there's only one person that does workshop in a way that is pleasing, in a way that you can be sure that okay, I'm truly benefiting from my money. Okay. And I won't mention names, right? So, but for example, at the point where I was like, okay, let's get serious with photography and let's attend workshops. It was very difficult to see a workshop where you are doing maybe like 2 weeks. An average workshop in Nigeria currently is just 3 days. And you cannot necessarily, unless you learn yourself, you can't. There's a limit to what you can learn in 3 days, especially if it's coming back to back. Yeah. And if you're a slow learner, I'm not anyways, but I'm just saying. So at that point, it became a bit difficult to find people that that can be that committed to teaching you for a long period of time. And somehow, God just helped me in working my way to Yemi Kings, a man called Yemi Kings, right? And from him, even though we're not able to have like constant contacts, every time I was able to meet with him and I'm able to ask him questions, it's a way, it had a way of shifting my mind to the possibilities that we have in the photography space. So I think those two basically were like my major. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. So the next question I would like to ask is, you mentioned something about the charging for. Okay. So I'm sure there are quite a number of photographers who are like, I don't know how exactly to come about my value? How do I like value? What I mean is financial correspondence of the value. So how can they? How do you know how to charge? Is there like a system that makes you know? Oh, for 5 pictures, 50,000. For 5 pictures, 1,000. You know, how can you teach them how to monetize and how to create a system that allows them to know the value for their picture?
All right, so I don't think I'll be able to go into that in depth, right? So, but I'll just. So, there's no one that can really teach you what to charge or how to charge, right? Only you can decide by yourself what to charge, because you know the things that go, that will go into your planning, the things that go into your maintenance of your gadgets. You know how much you get, how much you got your gadgets. You understand? So, but for example, now if I'm saying that, okay, charge 5K for 50 pictures, there are people in Nigeria that charge in millions. You can't mention him, right? They're charging millions, like for their. So if you are, so I said that to say that you cannot necessarily compare yourself to because Mr. A Studios is charging 800,000 for 8 pictures or 5 pictures. I won't charge like that. If, for example, now a friend of mine, a colleague, right, posted something yesterday and he said that I'm about to increase my rate, and if my rate is going to increase, my value must increase. So as you can only say, okay, as your value is increasing yourself, you cannot say, okay, let me start increasing my rates. So it will be robbery, to be thief-free for you to increase your rates, and people come to you and you don't have the value for that rate that I've increased your money to. So beyond running to increase your value, beyond running after increasing your rates, rather, work first on being a valuable person. And I can assure you that people will pay premium for value. More than 2 or 3 times I've had people come in. People don't believe that I'm in Ibadan. For example, I had a client once that I'd already paid in full for a particular session, but she discovered that, wait, send me the directions. I was like, okay, from anywhere in Ibadan. They're like, what do you mean Ibadan? Like, I thought you're still in Lagos. I'm like, no, so I had to refund. So I mean, like, that was not a good experience anyways. But I said that to say that anywhere the carcass is, vultures will gather. So it doesn't matter how far you are. People fly, people in. There's a particular, lady that did a wedding in Nigeria that was like the talk of the town. I don't want to mention names, right? She flew in a photographer from, I think it was Saudi Arabia, I don't know, from a particular country to come and take her pictures. Are you telling me that they're not photographers in Nigeria? No. I'm sure she paid extremely premium, if there's anything like that, right, to bring him in. So I'm saying that as you increase your value, a time will come where once you are that valuable and you're increasing your rate, people cannot say, why are you charging like this? Because they're not blind to the value. They can see how much growth has happened between the last time you shot for them and the current time. So beyond wanting to increase your rates, work on being a person of value, and from there, it is in working on being a person of value that you possibly attend workshops, attend seminars where you will now understand that, okay, this is how the industry works. This is what a pricing structure looks like, and these are the things I should consider, to work on my pricing. So I don't know if I answered that.
Thank you so much. I like what you said, that value so valuable that people underpricing you is a challenge.
Yes.
I like that part. So let's progress a little and go to some weird tricky questions.
Okay.
Right? So the first question is, we have a lot of people who are in the creative sector. We have a lot of stories of, my daddy did not support me, my mother did not support me, they said I should focus on my book, blah, 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 yes and that. So for you, is the story the same or is it different?
That's not tricky anyways, but I think for me, right from somewhere in 200 level, between 200 level and my final year, I can count the amount of times I went home. I can count. So literally, I started showing from home at some point that, so I think Motekurole, so that kind of thing. So it's not actually a challenge. And the other thing is that as a Christian, the time came in my life where my parents could vouch for me. So they could, trust the integrity of my decisions. So if I'm saying that I'm doing this thing currently, they don't question that. Are you sure? I was able to prove myself to them, not consciously, subconsciously, that you can trust my decisions, you can trust my judgment. So if I tell them, for example, that this is what I'm doing currently, they don't have any reason to not believe it. So I think, so for everything, just to answer your question, if whenever I told them I'm doing this, they'll be like, okay. I think that's the question.
I think you mentioned something very crucial, especially for us that we are very young, is that when we want to enter into the creative space, it is when we want to enter into the industry that we start questioning our parents instead of living a life that has shown that we know what we are doing before that time. So you cannot just wake up one day, you that you have been inconsistent, that today you are doing this, tomorrow you are not doing it. You have been so inconsistent that your parents they don't trust you enough to let you go. And then wake up and want to come into a sector that is very volatile, very unstable. Because the truth about the creative sector is not stable.
It's not.
So a lot of times parents are just very concerned about, I'll prefer that you're in a work that has a stable flow. That you know that anything stop like this, you still have your payments.
And at some point, right, that was like in my, I think like 3 weeks to the end of my my stay in my undergraduate days. I told my dad over the phone, I said, "Sir, hey, can I see your bro?"
Yeah, but you subtitle for one.
Fine. All right, so I told my dad, I said, "Hey, best of all, me only plan láti fi ìwé jẹun." So, I told him that I want to tell you about something that I don't have plans to work with my certificate. So I'm currently in the creative space, and I think this is where I want to be. I was like, okay, I'm showing, God will be with you. I mean, so if you can get to a point where they're able to trust your decision and you are transparent enough to allow them know the things they are doing part time, I don't think it will be an issue. So I would say every now and then that I believe that what every parent wants for their child or for their children is to ensure that you are succeeding in life. That is their goal. So it doesn't matter what you are doing, really. So say, read the book and come out to first class, apart from the professor's shower. I believe is because in a way, give or take, they believe that if you have a first class, you have an higher chance of doing well, of getting a good job. Their prayer is just that you succeed in life. So it doesn't matter what you are doing, really. No, Yahoo. Please. I mean,
legitimate
stuff, please, I beg. So I mean, so yes.
Yeah, okay. Next question is this. So we have a lot of photographers who can snap anything and anybody. So as a believer who is a photographer, do you believe that they should have is there rules and regulation on the kind of pictures they cannot snap? The kind of birthday shoot. You know, there's some birthday shoot that people will snap that you cannot even post it because of your own circle. And like, I can't do this. Now, as a photographer, you're supposed to snap that kind of picture, and it's bringing plenty money. And then you're a fine young man again. So, how do you?
All right, so I think that's a bit tricky, right? So, for example, if I'm having a photo session with you, like that's like a studio portrait. There's a point where we get in our discussion that I'm like, okay, what are you wearing? Okay. Like, run me through your outfit. So they possibly send a picture or send like a template. I'm wearing something exactly like this. So you can still control that one and like, But really, I don't know how best to answer that question because I've not been in a place where someone comes to me and like, this is what I want to wear. And it's extremely really revealing. So I said it's tricky because I shoot events a lot.
Okay.
Right? So at that level, you can't control what people wear to the event.
Okay.
Right? So what I mean is that, for example, if I'm shooting a wedding, I've gone to weddings of people that I'm like, okay, this wedding should be clean. And even they as men of God, for example, as men of God now that did an event, they don't have a control in a way over what people wear to their events.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, I shot a particular event in just somewhere inside UI, and my God, I can say that literally over 80% of the people that were present, I mean, like, ladies, of course, were indecently dressed. Now, they already paid. Their money has gone somewhere, right? So, but now, is it at that point I won't say, I can't shoot this event? Now, but I think what I did at that day was that we did the event. Of course, after the event, we had to do a lot of art purging, right? So, but at that point, what I did then, or what I do in most cases like that, is that I shoot the event, edit them, and I send them to them without my watermark. So that's at that point, it is not something I can control. But you won't come to me and say that I want to shoot nude, and I'm like, okay, come to you, let's shoot. You won't find me there. So yes, I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, I think to a reasonable extent. Reasonable.
That is me. So you can have a different approach, but I mean, like that's what I do in cases like that.
All right. So for someone that wants to start photography, what kind of camera will you recommend for them?
The camera is in your hand right now.
Their phone.
Your phone, yes.
Oh, okay. Which phone? Which phone?
The phone that is in your hand.
Okay.
So let me speak on that a bit. So for example, there's I believe that there are people that have like really expensive gadgets that don't know how to use it. It brings me back to what I said first. You have to, if you have a very expensive gadget and you don't know your way around it, it's as good as having nothing. So, for example, someone that does not have, that much, that high-end gadget in a way, but has mastered the use of the camera, has mastered the use of his tools in Photoshop, it will do greater than you that had or you that have a better camera. So, for example, you see people. So I tell people that when I went to an event one day, and my assistant was telling me that answer. Do you know how did you feel when you saw people with this long lens? Where I was like, how no, that I'm not. That it is the end that will justify the means, right? That so when you see, so there's no place I enter today, right? That I'll feel threatened. Like, God, this lens. I don't feel anyway. I'm like, okay, I think to a good extent, I know my way around, the basic things of Photoshop and our photo color grading, color grading software. So good to the extent that there are times where people have gone to represent me, at an event, and I edit them, and they come out the same way my pictures will come out. So, for example, I tell people that I do not have a preset that I use. For every time I get to edit pictures, I edit them from the scratch, and the feel is very, very constant. So, beyond saying that, okay, I'm not going to start because I don't have that mirrorless camera, start with what you have. And just ensure that if you can, achieve the maximum best with what you have currently. Now imagine if you have like better cameras, you will do exploits in a terrible way, in a terribly good way. Anyway, so I said that to say that it doesn't matter how expensive your gadgets are. If you don't know your way around it, if you have not mastered how to use it, it's as good as not having it at all. So yes.
So master what you have so that you can master what you come. That makes sense.
Okay.
So as we begin to finish up, so a few more questions, and the first one is: as somebody who is very busy, how do you maintain relationships with your friends, and even people that want to reach out to you? Because if you are very busy, if you are in events, you are snapping. How does it affect the dynamics of your relationships with people, especially in terms of replying messages?
All right. So, as funny as it sounds, right? I don't like to see myself as a busy person.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, Sha. So,
busy people don't know that they are busy.
So, but I think the way around that is that, to be honest, I don't know. So, but of course, in managing relationships, right, it can be overwhelming. So, for example, I just got back from a week-long trip. Currently, my body still aches, right? So, but in the space of that 1 week, my response to people was not as swift as it would be. When I was not level, I used to tell people that there's no time to send a message, I respond immediately. I don't have messages on read. But right now, sometimes I'm checking the amount of messages I have on read. I'm like, bro, who sent me? So I think the way about that is that I don't have too much friends. Right? So, but the few ones that I have, we have a structure of reaching each other every now and then. So, for example, because of the many messages that come in every now and then, I may not be able to see your message in time if it's a personal message. So, but me and my friends, we have like a group where we can, this group is you cannot see the name and skip it. Yeah. So when you see a message, okay, someone's trying to reach me, so we can easily interact ourselves from there. But I tell people that if you are someone that you are a bit close to me and you need to reach more gently, I think I do well with calls than texting on WhatsApp, right? So I think it's just knowing what works for you and sticking with it. So, for example, if you're waiting for me to respond to a WhatsApp message that is in a way not too urgent, it may take time, right?
So I like the way you said it may take time.
So, for example, if I have my Bluetooth on. So if I want to hear you, I'll hear you my foot chest. So, of course, I don't hear people anyways. But if I'm entering your message, I'm like, okay, so I think this is like a bad behavior. So I'm about to confess. Right? So if you send me a message and I'm online and I just see hello, if I can see from my notification panel just hello, I may not respond. Okay. Because like, hello what? Like
go straight to the point.
Go straight to the point. Someone will say, hello, hi, how are you? I'm fine. Are you? Okay, bro, like, and I think So for that, if it's for business, sometimes I have people that help me work with my Instagram page. Sometimes,
Okay.
so if it is business, Instagram is like the best place. So like, sir, give me your number. Let's keep on talking here because
if you
bring
come
it
to
to
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp,
we start us
that's
viewers.
more. So I mean, so I think that's just about it. And the other part is that sometimes when I know that I've been busy back to back, that this is where I just sit down and I write a list of people I want to reach out to. So on that one sitting, either I'm calling you, I'm sending you a text, or I'm dropping a voice note. I'm doing that on that one sitting. Just a way to keep myself in check that you owe your friends the responsibility of checking up on them and reaching out to them.
I like that. You owe your friends the responsibility of checking up on them and reaching out to them. So, final words for photographers, Christian creatives in the photography industry.
Too many words, right? So, but let me say this. Money is important. Everything is not about money. There are doors, that utterances will open onto you. So I'm saying this to Christian creatives, that it's not everybody that reaches out to you that you will charge. I don't know how best to explain that, but let the Holy Spirit be your guide. I mean, I said that to say that there are people that you meet now. Now, this is not business sense, because what a secular business consultant will tell you is that for every contact, collect your money. Now, and that's true, right? But there are people that will reach out to you that you should not charge. Now, to balance that, you can't come and meet me and tell me that you don't know my man of God. You should not charge me. That's the reason why I'll charge you, right? That's the reason why I'll charge you. So, but there are people that will reach out to you and that because of the kind of value this person has an utterance to shift my life to the next level. If you are charging them, I'm not best to explain this to you, but I'm just saying that everything's not about money. Money is important, right? But not the people to charge and the people not to charge. That's for a Christian creative. Christian creative. So if you're in the secular space, when they walk up to you, collect your money, and do with it what you want to do with it. So I think that's one. Number two is that have people in your circle that that are like-minded, people that you can reach out to in your space. For example, I'm a photographer. I have people that are photographers that are Christians, not just any kind of Christian. They're like solid people. We can trace them to people, right? And I have people that are not photographers, but they're also Christian creatives that do other things that surrounds photography. So with those people, it becomes easy to be able to check ourselves and balance ourselves. Like, bro. So that, for example, now there are people that I have today that will tell me that, guy, this thing that you did in this picture, adjust this thing. And I won't feel bad, right? Because I know that they have my best interest at heart. So the other thing is that as much as you are gunning for, you want to be seen by people, visibility, you want to be visible, ensure that you have the amount of value that corresponds to that level of visibility. So, for example, I would always thank God that there are people that I know today that I didn't know 3 years ago. Because it just takes one error. When like, this guy's not good. Off the road. So, for example, I can share this now because Brother shared it publicly, right? So in 2022, so something happened and I was called to come and take a family picture of Daddy, the Bamiloye, right? And I came in, I was like, okay, let's get this. And when I saw the picture, when I was editing the pictures, I was like, I done everything possible to improve the quality of that picture, but it was not working. I was like, well, let's just deliver it like that. So I delivered the picture. I just discovered that they didn't put this picture. So I asked I said, sir, you messed up, bro. So now what if I said to my students that you will not always get the second chance. So it took God for me to get a second chance. Like, okay, come and take this picture. Now, what I did was that I told myself that in this next 1 year, I'm going to cut down the number of, pictures that I take and just spend time, dedicate time to learning and relearning. So I said that when that time is complete, when the cycle is fulfilled, I was telling myself, right, I was a conversation with the Holy Spirit that how I would know it's fulfilled now is that I would take a picture of the three families, like the children, the three families. Then, if I pass that phase, they will come and take this picture again. If the result is excellent. And then it happened, I think Jamaica first, Brodami, then Pastor Lawrence. I was like, okay, Jamaica was like, come and take this picture tomorrow. Jamaica was like, this is second chance. So I said, if you mess it up, that's the end. So I mean, so I came in that day to take the picture. I was like, Jamaica, how's it? So I mean, so I ended up the result, were excellent, right? So I said that to say that in most cases, you may not get the second chance, right? Just one mistake can shut it out forever. So I'm saying that as you are trying to be visible, doing the collaborations you can do and meeting the people that you can meet, that's please let me tag me. If you meet people and they are saying that this version of you that came to them is not that valuable, they won't call you again. They just say that, that was nice. For people that won't tell you the truth, and that will be the end of your interaction. So as you are trying to be all over the place, ensure that you are not just being all over the place, you're also spending time to increase in value. Lastly, I'll say that the work we do can be demanding mentally, physically. You can work to a point where you wear your body out, rest. So sometimes I tell people that I'm busy. I may just be busy sleeping, right? I'm still busy. Because under that sleeping, I'm sleeping, I'll still, try to catch up with things I'll do later. So, but don't get to a point where you wear your body out completely, where you find it difficult to be creative. Don't get to that point. So, lastly, so I said that to say rest your body properly. Lastly, is that okay? There's one more. Lastly,
Okay.
So second to the last now is that as much as you are increasing in value physically, my pastor would say it takes power to push your brand to the world. It takes power. So don't just say to the fact that I'm good now. Baba. There are people that are good though, and are good in their village. So you can be good and not be heard, right? So as much as you are spending time increasing in value and meeting people, you can meet people, right? It's good to meet people. It's good to network. You can network and they forget about you. It takes power to bring your name back to their heart and bring your face back to their mind, right? So lastly, I was going to say that have a very open mind, right? Don't say that because I'm doing photography today or I'm doing YouTube today, I will die on this mountain. Be open, because I don't believe that we'll discover our purpose in one day, right? Our ultimate purpose is that we're here to know Jesus and make him known, right? But we're going to express that thing through different ways, right? So I said that to say that you are too young to circle your life and say that, okay, as I'm doing photography now, that's what I'll do to the end of my life. You are too young to circle like that. So I believe that as we journey in God, as we walk with God, and as we prove to God that we are faithful servants, there are things that He can come into this current version of our lives that will begin to open up to us as we journey. So you are too young to circle and say that this is what I'll do for the rest of my life, right? So be open-minded, pray, love God, do everything you can. Have accountability partners, right? So that when you mess up, you have people that can pray for you, people that truly and genuinely care about you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I'm very sure there were a lot of values packed in those last words that you've learned from. So thank you so much, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you for honoring our invite. I hope that I invite you again. You will come. You'll not be busy with one event.
I'll come.
Okay. He has given us. It's what? So for everybody to watch, remember, you have to keep replicating the culture of Zion everywhere you find yourself. Take care and goodbye.
Bye.